All right, welcome everyone. I think we'll go ahead and get started. It's right at 12 o'clock. Very good. To get started today, Terrence and I are going to do some introductions. I'm going to share my screen and hopefully we will answer all your questions about the job search process. So there we go. Give us just, there we go. Okay, Terrence, you can see we're good to go?
Yep, I see it fine.
Great. So today's topic for Job Search July, we are going to be talking about the resources that we have here at TCU to help all alumni and students in the job search process. And so kind of how to use these tools. It's been a while, or maybe you're brand new to both of these tools, and we'll kind of walk you through that. Terrence, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I'll do the same.
Sure. Well, I'm Terrence Hood, and I serve as Assistant Director for Alumni and Student Athletes here in the TCU Career Center. I've been at TCU for about 12 years, and this role is for alumni, so it's not a totally new position. It was a dedicated role for alumni. We've always served students and alumni in the Career Center, but now I'm dedicated to alumni in your career development and your career exploration. So I look forward to working with everyone. Thank you so much, Brooke.
Great. And I am Brooke Schumann. I'm here in the Office of Alumni Relations. I'm an Associate Director, and with my role on staff, I focus on career programming, and I also get to work with some of our student programming with Student Foundation, for those of you who may remember that organization when you were on campus, our famous tour guides. But Terrence and I have been working together a lot over the last year and thinking of ways to support alumni no matter where they are in the career process, whether it's getting started with a job search or moving up in the career. And these are two tools that some are very new and some have been around for a while and maybe just got a makeover. And so we want to kind of revisit all of these tools with you today and make sure that you know that you have access to these for free as a TCU alum. And so these are the topics we're going to tackle today and hopefully get these questions answered for you. Let's see if we can start our first poll. Go ahead and let us know if you have used Handshake, the Frog Jobs, or Horn Frogs Connect with a job search. Very good. The votes are coming in quickly, and the vast majority definitely are saying no. But after today, we will hopefully change that for you.
Absolutely.
I'll go ahead and share these results. The majority of you have not used these, or if you've used something, it's been a while. So, all right. I'm going to kick it over to Terrence to kind of get started and talk about the Handshake tool. This was a quote last week from our webinar presenter, Hallie Crawford. I think we've all heard this at some point, but your net work is worth your net worth. And so I think that is really timely for everybody right now and really relying on your network. So Terrence, if you want to take it away and talk about the tool Frog Jobs, we'll get started.
Absolutely. So Frog Jobs, powered by Handshake, and many of you who are alumni might remember former Frog Jobs. I've been here 12 years and we've had several different platforms for Frog Jobs, but the old platform is called 1220. We discontinued that last year. Now we have Handshake, which has been very, very well received by many of our alumni. If you remember the look of the former Frog Jobs, this has a totally new look and feel. It kind of reminds you of a LinkedIn, so to speak, and some of the functionality actually mirrors that of LinkedIn as well, which is one of the main reasons we decided to go with this platform. And this is used by many schools across the country. So we launched it in August of 2019, brand new Frog Job, so it's all new. And hopefully it gives you all some leverage to find opportunities. So I'm going to show you a couple of things. I'm going to actually demo a couple of features in Handshake and show you the power of it to leverage the alumni network and find jobs and internships and opportunities and find employers. So lots to cover today, but this session is all about you. So if you have questions, please use the Q&A feature. If there's something I'm not covering or that you're not seeing or questions about functionality, please don't hesitate to chime in on the Q&A chat feature.
All right, can you see the next slide there, Terrence?
Yep, I see it there. Yeah. And so for Handshake, again, why should you use Handshake? So the idea is to several things. First of all, getting hired. We know that the job market has been challenging, but in Handshake, we actually have been very fortunate to still receive a steady influx of job postings. And I will share with you some of the more recent trends that we've been seeing. There are about 500 virtual positions on Handshake right now, and that's from industries such as sales, research, healthcare, IT, business. Some of the jobs are in sport. So there are lots of variety of industries in Handshake, and there are over 500,000 companies that use Handshake. So you have access to all 500,000 of those employers. So because you're a TCU alum, you don't just have access to those who are hiring TCU, but employers that register with Handshake have to make TCU their preferred school, which is great, but you have access to all of the employers that use Handshake for all the schools. So I'll show you how to find those employers that are hiring in Handshake. So if you're TCU alumni, that's great, but you have access to all of the employers that use Handshake. Also get discovered and get messaging from employers. And so we're gonna talk about how to make appointments, how to find employers, how to research employers. But speaking of employers, this is actually a good segue. So you see the variety of companies here that are represented on Handshake, over 400,000 employers that use the platform. So your access to not just those who are specifically recruiting at TCU, but all of the employers, Lyft, Target, Slack, Amazon. Again, we have all the Fortune 500 companies on Handshake. So you have access to all of these employers that have said, we want to hire TCU alums, but your access is to all the employers that use the platform. And you definitely want to get connected. Handshake is a great tool to connect with other alums, and again, alums at other universities in various industries. So I'm going to show you there's actually a cool feature called Q&A where you can actually do a question. For example, what's it like to work at Deloitte? Or I heard that these interviews are behavioral. Who can give me advice? You can actually use Handshake to connect with other alums from not just TCU, from other universities that might have other insight about what it's like to work at a company or what it's like to interview at a certain company, the culture of a company. And so the career search is not just a one-way street. So we're going to talk about your profile, which is really the key aspect of your experience. So many of us have a fully complete Handshake profile, a fully complete resume. So I want to talk about the importance of how to complete your profile. And if you do that, you're 5 times as likely to be messaged by employers. And we found out that employers are actually using the message feature even more now in the midst of the pandemic to reach out to people via Handshake messaging. And so you might be seeing messages from employers directly that are seeing your profile, but if your profile is not fully complete, you're not that likely to be seen by employers. So like your LinkedIn profile is fully complete resume, you want to make sure that your profile on Handshake is fully complete as well.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing. Turn that over to you.
All right. So I'm going to just share my screen here. And this is going to be Handshake. The website is tcu.joinhandshake.com. Brooke may be able to share the link to that in the chat. But it's, again, tcu.joinhandshake.com. Look out for that link. Please go ahead and sign up. If you don't have an account on Handshake, and when you sign up for an account on Handshake, you're going to actually go into kind of a pending status. And so we have to actually vet people that register for Handshake to make sure that you're an Action alum. That takes about 1 or 2 days at the most. So if you're new to Handshake, you go to tcu.joinhandshake.com and you actually register. It takes, again, about a day or 2 to get your account fully active. I do that myself. And so it takes about 1 or 2 days at the most. Once you're in the system, here's what you're going to be doing. I'm actually logged in as an alumni in Handshake right now. So what you do here, So you see my profile here. My main page is based on how active I've been in the system. So right here, you have a couple of navigation points here that takes you right to jobs, right to employers here. But I'm going to go right to the profile because that's the foundation. You want to make sure you have a fully complete profile. So if you go to the upper right corner here and click on your little picture here, I put my little photo here for a silhouette here. So you go to the top here and let's go to where it says my profile. And this is what you'll see. So my account here is actually that of an alum. So what you see here is right now my profile is only half complete. So what that means is employers will probably see some of my profile, but the more I complete, you're 5 times more likely to be seen by employers. And so what you see here, again, back to the idea of mirroring LinkedIn, fill out your major, your graduation month and year, your journey. So you can talk about your passions, your interests, your values. So LinkedIn is a platform to come across as professional yet personable. So is Handshake. You can talk about what's important to you, what you're seeking, types of industries, skills you've gained, any achievements. So I recommend maybe a couple of sentences here. Now, nothing too extensive because you want to make sure it's visually appealing, but make this your own. Education section, fully complete that with your major graduation date here. And then you're going to use this to copy and paste from your resume. So this says work and volunteer experiences, add your skills. So I've done all this on this mock profile here, adding skills. Only thing that's missing is documents. So it shows you exactly what you need here. Adding a profile picture, again, back to LinkedIn, your profile picture gives you more of a chance to be seen by employers. I think with LinkedIn, with the profile picture, you're 14 times more likely to be clicked on versus without a profile picture. So here, no blank silhouettes here, the gray little silhouette. Let's do a professional headshot there, or use the same photo that you have on your current LinkedIn profile as well. And notice here, my profile is actually visible to employers. So you can actually go to your settings here and decide whether you want employers to see your profile. Some do, some don't, but again, that's totally based on your preference, but you have the option there. And then here, I'm going to show you how to fill out your career interest section, because when you do that, and I've already done that, but when you finish that, it shows you a little snapshot of what you're looking for. Here are types of industries, types of roles. You can come down here and see who's viewed your profile. Again, my account is set up a little bit differently as a staff/mock alumni, but over here, as employers get access to your profile, you can get a peek of that here and see what employers are interested. And then here's some of the skills I've added to my profile as well. So you might use some of the same skills from your LinkedIn profile, but again, keep it current as you gain new skills, add new attributes to your LinkedIn. Also come over here because employers are actively using Handshake to find alumni for various opportunities. So if you go over here to your little silhouette here, next I'll cover your interests. So if you come down here to the career interest section here, this is a way for you to help Handshake help you. So as you see here, you can go in here and fill out everything that matches your preference. So what type of job am I looking for? Mostly full-time. What options are you considering? Graduate school, military, volunteering, even a section here for graduate programs that you might be interested in as well. What types of roles? You can come here and just do kind of a keyword search. Be specific as possible, because the more specific you are, you're gonna start seeing those types of opportunities show up on your main page as they're added to the system. So if you're not quite sure what you're looking for right now, you can type in some possibilities, some related careers, but if you think about other opportunities and possibilities, come back to Handshake, go back to your profile and keep that as current as possible. Also, what type of cities are you thinking about relocating? You can come here, let's see, and type in a certain city state. So if you're thinking about relocating or focusing on jobs in your area, you can type in a city state here. Austin, Texas, for example, add as many cities that match your preferences. But then come down to the industries or job functions. And I think Handshake did a very nice job of covering almost every single function and industry there is, but just come here and just click on these areas and then save your interests. You can always come back and edit them later. And when I go back to my main page, This is the main page you see. Based on my interest here, it's going to show me jobs that match my interests. And I can come back here and save the jobs, come back to them later. So those are some foundational pieces, your profile, make sure that's fully complete, and then come over back to your interest section, fill that out, but also make sure that you are doing that as often as your interests might change to make sure that those jobs appear in your main feed. Now, Brooke, do we have any questions so far? I want to just press pause and see if there are any questions from our alums.
Not yet. Oh, wait a minute. We do have one. As an alum, I'm having difficulty creating maybe an account with an EDU email. What is the criteria for creating one?
Got it.
I don't think you have to have an EDU email. Is that right, Terrence?
That's correct. You don't have to have one. I'm going to actually sign out here. Can you still see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So what you do is when you go to the main Handshake page, you're going to come down here. So if you're brand new to Handshake, what you're going to do, don't click on the blue tab here. This is for the student login. Those students have a single sign-on. Alums don't have the single sign-on. So I recommend coming here to this link here for alumni to register for Handshake. It says use your EDU address if applicable, but Gmail works fine, Yahoo, any email should work fine, even the EDU, but make sure that you're not clicking on this blue tab. You'll click on this link down here at the bottom. As it says here, please select the link below, because this is for the students sign on here, but alums don't have a single sign on anymore. So come down to this link and you should be able to get signed in and get registered.
That's a good point. Yeah, I feel like I've made that mistake myself, right? Clicked on the big blue box because it was just so handy.
Absolutely.
Great. I think that's all we have right now. Wait, hang on, one more question. I joined a little late, so this may have already been addressed. Does Handshake replace frog jobs? It is the same thing. So this, I think Terrence kind of talked about this earlier, and as an alum twice over myself, I think a lot of us remember frog jobs from 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and it's different. It's a completely different experience. The university, the Career Center, partnered with Handshake. Was it last year? It was last year.
Definitely, August of 2019.
Completely new platform, and so it's not just the place that you go for the on-campus job, the internship, that entry-level job anymore. So I think a lot of times people think, oh, frog jobs, that's not for alums. This is a tool that many universities are using, and it is beyond what we had maybe when we were a student. So that's kind of it isn't replacing it. It is, I guess it is replacing it, but it's giving it a new look, a facelift. It's frog jobs powered by Handshake rather than our old product. So okay, we have more questions coming in, Terrence.
Yeah,
I signed up as an alum, at least I thought I did, but the email I received said pending student registration. How do I update this to an alum?
Actually, that's a great question. Handshake, the language of Handshake is very student registration, student login. So don't be discouraged by that. That's kind of how the system is kind of set up. But if it says pending registration, that just means that you've registered and have to go in there and vet it, and I'll actually make you active myself. And so that should take, again, about a day or two. If you just signed into that, you are an alum in the system, but just the system, the language is very, very student focused, but it doesn't take away from your actual status as an actual alumni.
Great. Okay, the next question. Someone talked about they were concerned about age discrimination. Should they put their class year? They graduated in the 80s, which really wasn't that long ago, but they are worried about age discrimination. Do you have any advice on that?
Well, that's a great question. I would say it just depends. I think in Handshake, the actual graduation year, I think it might be optional in there. I think you definitely want to be truthful. Let me see here. I'm going to just demo it here. Alumni, being save. If we go here, here's my little profile here. Let's see. Yeah, so the date is actually optional, if I'm not mistaken. So I would say based on your comfort level, I understand the concern about age discrimination, but many of our employers are more interested in your relevant experience and skills. So I don't think that should be a detractor for you. But again, I'm totally open to sharing more about it if you have other questions. But I would say for now, you might want to leave it off of there for now, based on comfort level. I don't think it's a required field. Then you might consider revisiting.
Great. Let's see. Someone asked a question about Hornfox Connect, so we'll get to that question shortly. And then, is it possible to find consulting jobs as well? I've been consulting for 10 plus years, but I'm having trouble finding those jobs in the pandemic.
Wow, that's a great question. It's actually good timing. I'm actually going to do a webinar for alums who want to work in consulting. I'm doing an alumni webinar actually next week. So I'll have more to share on that coming up soon. Actually, it's a whole webinar for alums who are thinking about consulting work. So I'll be happy to share resources with you directly if you want to email me. But in the actual Handshake platform, you can actually search by industry. So this might be a good starting point for consulting roles. Let's see if we can do a live demo. Would that be okay, Brooke?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So I'm going to actually do a little live demo here. So I'm actually in the job search. You have to go to the jobs tab up here at the top. And then you can actually do full-time as your filter. 2,000 jobs found that are full-time. Let's go to all filters here in the middle. If you come down here, you can go by industry. Let's see if we have anything related to that. Manufacturing, design, government. So we actually have a whole consulting section here. So I'm not sure the exact consulting that you're looking for. I'll just do management consulting for this demo here. And if I stop there, we have 39 jobs for consulting. Just for that area, you do show results here. And the jobs are on the left. So it says consulting industry. So if you click on the jobs on the left, the description shows up in the middle. And you get a little bit more of a description here. And if you come down to the middle here, it shows you how you match the actual job qualifications. So back to the importance of having a fully complete profile. If you're lacking skills or lacking the requirements, it'll show you kind of what you're missing here. And my profile is not fully complete because I'm not really a real alum. But just make sure that you're using that filter for the job search by industry or by function. And then you can see the jobs here, more about the company, and also related jobs here at the bottom as well.
And one thing I noticed right away, if you scroll back up, Terrence, on this particular position, it looks like this was not just in Austin. Like Austin was like maybe the first city, but it said in 5 more.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's another filter situation. I think a lot of jobs are going more virtual than ever before. But if you are really trying to find something that's more specific to a region, you can narrow things down. So if you're in Oklahoma or if you're in Chicago, you could start by narrowing down the region and then going from there, vice versa.
Absolutely. And I hit my little cursor here over that and more. It shows you the cities that are available for that particular role as well for Embark Consulting.
All right, we've got another question. I'm not sure if my current company is listed, but I don't want them to know that I'm looking for a new job. Is there any type of control similar to LinkedIn that I can stay private?
Interesting. So was it more for LinkedIn or Handshake?
It's regarding the Handshake. So they're not sure if if they created a profile on Handshake, is there a way for them to stay profile or have their profile more private and still search so that their company doesn't say, oh, hey, what is he or she doing out here?
Wow. There is actually a settings feature here, Brooke. I'm sorry, I went a little fast here. If you go to the little silhouette here on the end and come down to settings and privacy on the right, this is more account information and how you want to be notified. So I believe this might be helpful for privacy. Let's see. So you can actually set your profile to private. So I'm not sure this answers the question, but it might be a way for you to apply for jobs and not be contacted by any employers. And this is visible only to those employers who are looking for candidates. So I'm not sure if the person's company is using Handshake, but again, you don't actually have to put your companies in your profile. That would help. But you can keep your profile for the minimum, maybe 75% full. So be mindful of that. Our employers do check it for those that are hiring. But I think that maybe the privacy settings might be helpful as well.
Okay, let's look over at the Q&A. Looks like we did get feedback that you are required to put your graduation year. So maybe that when you do the registration, so maybe that is something that can be controlled more in the privacy settings.
Definitely.
Thank you for that feedback.
Great questions.
Again, the other question we kind of have pending at this time is about Workbox Connect. So I'll hold on to that one. So if you want to finish or continue sharing about the platform, we can.
Absolutely, Brooke. Thank you so much. Awesome. Great questions. Keep them coming. So again, this session is all about you all. So if you see something up here that you want me to demo, please just chime in. I'll just show you a quick overview highlights of some really cool features people don't really use much on the system. So I'm going to go back to my main page. And this is what you see every time you log in. And here's our main little navigation here. I'm going to actually come over here to the community. So if you come to the community tab here, you have access to all the alumni that are on Handshake, but also alumni at other universities. So there might be some alums that work at other universities that might be working in consulting, for example. So here, you can explore, again, it says students here, because the platform is the languages of students, but it doesn't mean that you're not an alum. So just keep that in mind. It says students, but it doesn't take away from your status at all. And then here are all the different alums that are on the platform. But on the left here, you can click on TCU only and alumni only. And you can come here and see what they work. So let's say I'm just do Alliance for Children here, for example. You can click on the company or find an employer. And this shows you where our alumni are working. So again, it kind of mirrors a LinkedIn, but this is strictly for TCU. So for Mackenzie's profile, I'll click on her. She graduated in 2018. And so I'm looking at her profile. So if I'm curious to learn a little bit more about her experience, you can do a direct message through Handshake to Mackenzie or any alumni. And also Hornfrogs Connect has a very similar feature with messaging that I'm sure Brooke will talk about in a moment. Let's see. And the last thing I'll show you guys here, well, I see, Brooke, we have a couple of questions in the Q&A. Do we want to address those? Brooke, I think you might be muted, possibly. Oh, there you are. Sorry.
It's my first time ever to do a Zoom call. Every day.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
One of the questions in the chat is what percentage of alums have registered on Handshake at this time? Do you know that?
You know, I don't know the percentage, but I know that we have about a little over 3,500 alums that are registered on Handshake right now.
Awesome. That's great.
Yep.
And I think the other two questions in Q&A are kind of waiting for information about Hornfrogs Connect, so you're good.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. Well, this is, again, a fair overview of the system. You see other tabs. You can see career events, career paths. I'm going to go to the career paths tab here in the middle. So find your next move in Handshake. So you can explore career paths and related careers. So I'll just do human resources here just for this demo here. Quick little overview. And also it gives you kind of salary insights here with Handshake, which is very, very unique from our other platforms with Frog Jobs.
Yeah.
So if you want to explore human resources, if you're interested, here are some jobs that are actually posted in the system, a little bit of salary insight, top cities for the role, and related careers. So if you're exploring new opportunities, what jobs might entail, related careers, potential salaries, Handshake has added that to their platform for career exploration and career applying for jobs, and also learning more about potential career paths as well. All right, and then to make appointments with me, This will be the last thing I'll show here, Brooke, and then I can turn it over to you for Home Frogs Connect, if that's okay.
Mhm.
So quickly, if you come to the Career Center tab over here, this is the quickest way to get to it. You're going to come right over here to the Appointments tab, and then it's come to Schedule New Appointment up here on the left. And then you should see a category called TCU Alumni. If this says no appointments available, just shoot me an email, because it may mean that I didn't make your status alum in the system. It takes 2 shakes of a lamp, so I can do it in like 2 seconds, but you should see TCU Alumni up here. You click on this, and here are all the different appointment types in the Career Center. So I'll just do LinkedIn, which means LinkedIn profile review, or any questions about LinkedIn. We're doing phone and Zoom appointments at this time due to the pandemic. So we do career assessments, cover letter, resume, case interview for those who are going into consulting. We do offer case interview prep as well. Salary, job offer evaluation tips. We offer that as a service to alumni. Resume review, graduate school assistance, personal statement reviews here. So I'll just do career advice here. And then you see my calendar for the entire year. So for, let's just say for tomorrow, you click on the time that you want. And then under the medium, you can do phone call or do Zoom. And then give me some context of what you want help with. I'll need help with exploring my next steps in my career path. Whenever you're done, just hit request and you'll get an email confirming your appointment. It's that easy.
And Terrence, this is a question I know we've had in the past. I know the conversation today is about the job search process for ourselves, especially given the economy and how everything is right now. This is a timely topic, and I hope everybody's getting something out of this conversation today. But hopefully we can all be in the position of sharing job opportunities. As an alum, how do you do that from the platform? Is there steps that you have to go through, like contacting the Career Center first, or is that something you can post a position on Handshake?
Absolutely.
Anytime?
That's a great question, Brooke. Actually, it could be one or the other, actually. If alums want to post their jobs through Handshake directly, they're welcome to email me their job posting, and I can actually post the job on Handshake for them. But actually, it works better if they do it themselves, so they get familiar with the platform, so they can see who's applied, and they can look at resumes and possibly sign up for on-campus interviews or virtual interviews through the Career Center. So if I can show really quickly here, Brooke, let me show something here. Let me stop sharing here. Just really, really quickly, if you wanted to post a job, there are a couple of things you might do here. Let me reshare. So if you want to post jobs through Handshake directly, as an employer, you can come to our website. It's careers.tcu.edu. If you come right here to Hire a Frog, right in the middle, and then go to Get Started. And then it takes you right to our Frog Jobs powered by Handshake information. And what you do, you click right here on the Employers tab, and it gives you everything you need to create an account, post a job, connect with TCU. So everything you need is really in one location: how to manage applications, how to check resumes. And so I always say, if you want to post a job for alums via Handshake, you can do that here. We even have the ability on Home Frogs Connect to post jobs as well. So you have multiple avenues, multiple ways to do that. Or you can always email me directly, and I'm happy to post it as well. But I think it helps if you do it in the platform, so you get familiar with how to maneuver it.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Hopefully we're all going to get to that position where we can start sharing jobs, because we're gainfully employed, or maybe, even while you're searching, if you know about positions coming up, I think the more we can help each other, the better off we will all be. So, all right, well, I'm going to jump in and talk a little bit about Horned Frogs Connect. I know we've had a couple of questions come in about that.
Right.
I'm going to share my screen again. Great. Okay. So Horned Frogs Connect, for those of you who are not familiar, this is our alumni networking platform. Launched on June 1st of this year. We had plans for 2020 that did not include the pandemic and all of the other issues that came. And so one of the questions I know we've already had is, how are we going to get more alumni on there? And I will address that coming up. But we have had great success so far with the launch of the platform. Right now, we are gaining alumni every day. We have about 4,500 alumni on the platform and growing every day. In the coming weeks, we are inviting our entire faculty and staff community onto the platform, which is going to be really exciting. We will also be inviting our upper division students right at the beginning of the semester. So we're talking seniors, juniors, and some sophomores onto the platform so they can look to you, alumni, to ask questions about industry or maybe questions about companies. And so I want to show you about how to log in and what that process looks like. So to answer the question that we had a few minutes ago is, I joined Horned Frogs Connect. Looks like there's alumni on there, but how are we going to keep that momentum going? We have a lot in store. I'll show this in a minute, but if you notice, we have every school and college is a partner on this platform, including our TCU Letterman's Association. So we have a space for lots of different alumni communities on the platform. So we have a lot of programming coming, and Terrence and I are working on different webinars to hopefully use this as a resource for alums going forward. All right. So if you go to hornedfrogsconnect.com, right at the top of the page is the sign-in feature. You can sign in linking your LinkedIn account or sign in with an email account. If you sign in with the LinkedIn button, just as you have probably noticed with other websites, it's pulling in some of your career information, so it will save you a step in entering that information when you log in. So I'm going to head over to the actual website right now, kind of walk you through just like Terrence did. So when you log in and you look at the platform, you're seeing kind of a familiar setup. Looks like some other social media feeds that you're familiar with. I'm logged in as Superfrog alum. His name is Austin Schumann. He also lives with me, but he's 10. So if you see that in a few minutes, I'll explain that. So most of the jobs right now that we have on the platform, since we're talking about the job search conversation, most of the jobs that we have on the platform are coming directly from Frog Jobs. We have partnered with the Career Center, and so whether you're logging in directly into Handshake or you're logging in onto Horned Frogs Connect, you're seeing that information. Now, when Superfrog Schumann logged in and created their profile and filled in what industry and what their degree was in, it automatically filtered the jobs that were based on Superfrog Schumann's education and background. It started doing some of those resources or filtering those resources for him. And so you can kind of peruse all of them, but you'll also find that alumni can post a job directly onto the website. Let me show that. Superfrog Schumann actually works in the industry of education. Kind of like what you saw in Handshake. Here we go. So I want to filter that. You can see who posted the position. So for example, maybe Superfrog wants to apply for the teaching position over at Starpoint. This was added by a member of our staff on the Alumni Association, but if this was added by an actual alum, then they could see who it was added by and click on their profile right here and read a little bit more about their career and message them directly and say, hey, I see that you posted a job at your company. Can you tell me a little bit more about the company's culture? Or I'm interested in applying for the position. Would you be interested in chatting with me? And you could do that right here to this message system right directly through that process. Would you be interested in messaging or chatting with me either virtually or by phone so I can learn a little bit more about the position? I think that's kind of what makes it more personal on things like Horned Frogs Connect and even on Handshake, but more so on Horn Frogs Connect, is that everybody on here is a part of the TCU community, and they're a part of helping us be successful. Right down here, this is linking to whatever job board, whether it's directly to the company's website or if it's emailing somebody, or if the job is posted through Handshake, like this one. Actually, this one was posted by a TCU alum who works with a recruiting agency. They're looking for an executive director position. And so you could message Lloyd, thank you, Lloyd, who's the president of this recruiting organization. You could message him directly and say, hey, I want to contact you a little bit more. Let me show you an example of a position that was posted by Handshake. This is, again, filtered in, but when you click on here, it's going to send you to the job on Handshake. So again, everything is in concert. It's working together. And I hope that gives you a sense of we're not working against each other. We're working together to make everybody successful in their job search process. A little bit more about the job search advantages of looking on the directory on Handshake, that we are growing members every day, is that you can search by their work experience, maybe what company or what industry they're working in, if you kind of want to filter on that. You can also go to the groups that you're involved in. As I said, Super Frog Schumann is in education, and so he can get in touch with other members in this community directly and kind of get to know them right here within the community. We will be working to have events on all of our industry boards and the groups. When we were preparing this space for our alumni and our TCU community, and actually taking a page from our students to say, what can we do to make this space successful, or give us your feedback as you're looking at it. One of the things that we heard was, this looks a lot like a LinkedIn. Why wouldn't I use that instead? And it's not to replace LinkedIn. Again, you can sign in with your LinkedIn account. It's to use it in concert with. When we were speaking with some of the individuals in our focus group, what they loved about the Horn Frogs Connect platform, as you scroll through the directory, you're seeing this little purple tab right here on many profiles. In fact, you're going to see it on over 80% of the profiles on here. You're going to see that somebody has a tag on here that says they are willing to help. And so you can automatically see that a lot of people have raised their hand and that they are willing to be a resource for the TCU community. So we'll pick on Emily here. She's got her law degree, and you can see that she is willing to talk about her industry, open doors at her workplace, introduce you to professional connections. And this is not just for students, this is for alums. And so you can send Emily a message directly through here. And again, what's different than contacting Emily through LinkedIn versus Horn Frogs Connect is you can see they've already raised their hand virtually and they're willing to help. And I think that takes some of that, anxiousness of, okay, am I contacting someone who hasn't been on here in a while? Am I contacting someone who really isn't interested in, networking and helping others advance? And I think that's one of the advantages of the Horn Frogs Connect platform. Let's see. So we talked about the job board. It's, I think, pretty self-explanatory with the filters. You're going to see, again, jobs from Handshake, and you will also see jobs that are posted directly on to the platform. We received feedback years ago, years before our Career Center partners were looking at Handshake, that they kind of wanted a space to post that next level job, positions like this executive director. You will find those jobs on Handshake, but we're also seeing that alums are wanting to hire other frogs for these next level jobs, and they really want to try to keep it. They really want to go after the TCU community, and so this is a great site to do that on. We have other resources on the Horned Frogs Connect that Terrence and I are going to be sharing. If you participated in our webinar last week, we are going to be putting that broadcast and today's here in our resources page. These are other events that they posted those resources there. You're going to see this filling up over the next coming weeks and months. And Terrence is actually creating a wealth of resources for all alums. And I'll let him speak to that in a few minutes. But you'll see a lot of great information on this website, other professional opportunities, ways to get involved, and engage virtually. So I think that's, again, this is a professional networking community exclusive for TCU. TCU alumni right now. Very soon our faculty and staff will be on here, and also our upper division students. So I'll kind of pause there. Terrence, what kind of questions do we have in the Q&A or maybe in the chat feature?
Absolutely, Brooke. Let's see. I had a couple of questions come through. There's a question from one of our alums about how are alums notified that I want to connect. Previously, I reached out to approximately 5 alums, but only heard back from 2.
Okay, and I mean, I'm guessing do they contact them through Horned Frogs Connect, it sounds like?
It sounds like possibly, yes.
They should receive an email notification. And so I think that is something we can, as your alumni partner, we can help you get in touch with alums. And so if you're kind of running into dead ends, they will receive an email notification. And maybe they've changed email accounts, or maybe we need to help nudge. But please feel free to reach out to us. And I'll share my information later if you're having problems with that. But that's going to be our ongoing education process with all of our alumni. Is if you do raise your hand, we hope you know that people will ask you for help, and we hope you'll respond. And I mean, sometimes people get busy, or maybe people go on vacations these days. I don't know. Maybe not. Hopefully they're being safe, but maybe they kind of take a break from their email. And so give them a chance. But if you do run into several issues, please let us know, and we'll help you try to get connected with people.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Yeah, great. I think on the second part, are there jobs on Horned Frogs Connect that are not on Handshake?
Yes. I think I showed you a couple examples of positions that have been posted by alumni directly onto the platform.
Absolutely.
I see one of them. Does it tell me when the job was posted? And what is the process for removing the filled job to avoid? Oh, okay. Again, if a job is posted via Handshake, there are time limits. So those are automatically being updated every 24 hours. Sometimes things will get missed, but it's updated every night. And so that should autocorrect. On jobs that are posted by an alum, they have the opportunity to set posting dates and timelines. And so positions may expire, but it'll be cleared off of the list by the timeline that is set up at the time of posting. If that clarifies the question.
All righty.
Other questions about Horned Frogs Connect?
I think I see one more here, Brooke.
Okay.
On Horned Frogs Connect, are all of the jobs offered on this platform solely created by alumni? I'm trying to better understand its advantages compared to Handshake.
So again, it's a merge of both.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some that'll be from alumni, and then some that'll be coming over from the Handshake platform.
Absolutely.
And I didn't go into it today, but if you log in and you're starting to dig around, if you go to your schools and colleges that you graduated from, if you maybe have affinity to 2 schools, maybe you had a double major, like I was a graduate of AdRan and the College of Communication as an undergraduate, and so I have affinity to both colleges. And so I have access to both communities, and those job boards are filtered from Handshake that are more exclusive to those disciplines and career that are affiliated with that college. And so kind of explore all the different job boards and know that some are all filtered based on some of those things behind the scenes. It looks like a handshake question has come in. Is my functionality on handshake limited until I'm approved? I've created a profile, but I cannot seem to do much. Is that a process?
It is.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah. So once you register on a handshake, you can actually go in and do a certain amount of things. You can upload a resume and see events, but you can actually start applying for jobs and do other things until look at your profile, make sure that you're an alum. We had a random spam email from Russia.
Oh, yeah.
Just out of nowhere. So we have to make sure that we're protecting our data. So again, the vetting process takes 1 or 2 business days at the most, but you are limited into what you can see and do until you're officially approved by the Career Center.
The same goes for Horned Frogs Connect if you're setting up a profile there. And then maybe you're logging in with a LinkedIn account or a new email address that maybe we don't have on our database. And so if something doesn't match what we have, from a mailing list about other alumni events, it may send you into a pending approval process. I think the email that is sent to you says it's going to take about 2 days. I'll be real honest, unless it's the weekend or a holiday time, it happens within about 24 hours, if even that. So it's very quickly. We have several staff members that are watching that every day on Horned Frogs Connect. And again, to Terrence's point, because we've seen some random robot profiles try to come in and be a part of our community, and we want to keep it exclusive to the TCU community. So, good question.
Absolutely.
Right. I think we had some other questions about getting in touch with us. And share my screen one more time.
All right. So again, here I put these links in the chat feature a few minutes ago, but to schedule an appointment with Terrence, the best way to get in touch with him is to go to Handshake, because it will allow you to schedule a time right from that platform. And then I will share my email in the chat feature in a few minutes. We'll both be back next week, next Wednesday, as a matter of fact, with a national career expert, Hallie Crawford. Again, she was our webinar speaker last week. Next week, she's going to be discussing leveraging the hidden job market. So I hope you'll have an opportunity to join us. Go ahead and register for that. If you weren't unable to attend last week's presentation, we will be sharing that on our resources tab on Horned Frogs Connect, and we'll also put today's presentation there as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we appreciate everybody today. It looks like we've taken care of all of our questions pending today. I hope this was helpful for everybody. I hope that you are all staying safe and well, and we hope to see you next week. I'm going to put my email up here real quick before we sign out.
Yeah, same here.
Questions or concerns? I know some of you mentioned that today. We appreciate your time this afternoon, and go Frogs.
Go Frogs.